Okay. Ow! That hurt. Hi, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Katie. I'm a Marshwiggle. Growing up, I was obsessed with the Clue IP. I was completely obsessed with the Clue movie. Like a lot of children who were born in 1990, I also played the Parker Brothers board game constantly. I really love Clue. I love the IP. I think all of the characters, the story, it's really fun. It's really interesting. It was the first murder mystery thing that I was exposed to as a child, I think. When my mom bought me this book, I was so excited. This is the first book of a series of short mini mysteries that you as the reader get to try to solve throughout the book. The idea is that you read the story, all of the clues that you need to solve the mystery are in the story, and using deductive reasoning, you figure it out. This is my idea for the vlog. So I am going to read this book. I am going to read through all 13 mini mysteries based on the best-selling Parker Brothers game. And I'm also going to read this book. Now, this is a modern retelling of this. These books are very similar in that they both come from the same IP well. However, this is a group of 13 mini mysteries that you're trying to solve at the end of each chapter. This is instead a chapter book that is one sweeping narrative and one giant mystery that you're trying to solve at the end. Come along with me on this Clue journey. We can read this, see how stupid I am. We can see how many I solve. At this point, honestly, I'm not expecting a lot from myself, and you shouldn't either. And let's see if I can solve this one too. And let's also talk about how they're different, how they're similar. One last thing before we get started. This is going to be a spoiler-filled vlog. If I'm talking about something that I think could be a spoiler, I will put a warning up on the screen. You can mute me. Let's go do some reading. This guy first. Hi, hello. Okay, just started reading and I thought I would read you the introduction of this. My name is Reginald Body and I'm your host for the weekend. I trust you'll find your stay here at my mansion a most comfortable one, and I do hope that this time there won't be a murder. He says at the end, "Don't worry, I'll give you a chart of the suspects, weapons, and rooms at the end of each mystery. As you read, you can check off the suspects until you've narrowed your list down to one. And now, if you'll excuse me, I must be going. Just heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the conservatory. And then chapter 1, who killed Pity Pat in the conservatory? Mrs. White let out a blood-curdling scream, I can't talk. Anyway, I'm going to try to figure out who killed Pity Pat, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back. That literally took 3 minutes. So if you were wondering who is Pity Pat, it is Mr. Body's parrot who was found dead in the conservatory. And all of the residents of the manor go out to the graveyard to bury Pity Pat. Mr. Body gets very emotional. That's a character trait of Mr. Body in these books, by the way. He gets overly emotional. It's fine. We all have bad days. If I was living with a bunch of murderers constantly, I also would be very emotional as well. Anyway, Pity Pat is dead. Everyone is standing in the graveyard except Mr. Body, and Colonel Mustard decides to let everyone know that he's narrowed down who killed Pity Pat. So the first clue he gives is that Pity Pat was killed with a blunt object. And at the time, the only 3 people who had a blunt object on their person was Miss Scarlet, Mr. Green, and Professor Plum. But Miss Scarlet did not go into the conservatory all day, which is where Pity Pat was murdered. So it is either Mr. Green or Mr. Plum. And the last clue that Colonel Mustard gives is that at the time of Pity Pat's unfortunate demise, I was in the billiard room. I was playing snooker with Mr. Green and Professor Plum. I don't know what snooker is. I'm assuming it's a game. And so they were in the billiard room together. But that doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm just stupid and I can't figure it out, but I literally don't understand how this is supposed to give me the clue. Like, the way that I'm reading this, it seems like Mr. Green and Professor Plum would be, not a suspect because they were both with Colonel Mustard during the time of the thing. Okay, I don't know. I feel like the internet is going to judge me so hard because this is a book for children. This is written for children, and I can't figure out what they're trying to say. And I don't know if that's because I'm stupid or because it's not written well. I don't know. Do we want to know who did it? I feel like the answer is a blunt object in the conservatory, right? So I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to say that it's Mr. Green with the wrench in the conservatory, okay? That's my guess. Let's see if I'm right. Wait a minute. Wait, no. No. But he said that Miss Scarlet didn't go into the conservatory. So the solution says Miss Scarlet in the conservatory with the lead pipe. Only 3 suspects had appropriate weapons: Professor Plum, Mr. Green, and Miss Scarlet. Professor Plum and Mr. Green were playing snooker at the time of the murder. That leaves only Miss Scarlet. And while one of the 2 suspects in the conservatory was not Miss Scarlet, the other one was. Luckily for Miss Scarlet, Professor Plum forgot all about the mystery, and she was never caught. I don't get, I guess if I, find one that's good, I'll share it with you. Bye. Okay, we're back. I am on chapter 5 called Hide and Seek. And there is a plot in this mystery where all of the people in the mansion are playing a game of hide and seek. And while Mrs. White is dusting in her hiding spot, the candlestick falls on her head, knocks her out. This is also right before Colonel Mustard shoots a flare into the library, which sets the whole mansion on fire. So she's knocked out. They're trying to find where she is so that they can get her out so, you know, she doesn't die. Everyone goes to check a room. Miss Scarlet checked the billiard room and the conservatory. Mr. Green checked the library. Professor Plum checked either the dining room, the study, or the conservatory. So Colonel Mustard goes back in, checks the dining room, and he has to choose between the conservatory or the study. But if you remember, Miss Scarlet said that she checked the conservatory. It has to be the study. If I screwed this up, I don't know what to say. Let's see. Wait, what? She's in the ballroom? Oh my God, they didn't mention the ballroom. I forgot that the ballroom was a room. I'm so bad at this, and I'm so sorry. You deserve better. They checked the library, they checked the hall. I mean, everything that I said, it's just I forgot that the ballroom was also a room. I don't know. I'm on chapter 6 now, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think I'm gonna try to read a couple more. I think we'll only go through one more mystery together, and then after that I will finish the book and I'll let you know what I think about it. All right, bye. Okay, last story. Hope I get this right. It's chapter 10, Who Was Fiddling Around? And Mr. Body decides to invite all of his friends over to play chamber music in the ballroom. There is a old crone of a woman who he invites, and he can't remember who it is. And they're all going to another room to eat some crumpets and tea. His violin is gone. Mr. Body's violin is gone. And he's trying to figure out who is the person who took his violin, because it's the mysterious old woman. His set list for the music party, he's on first violin. The old crone is on second violin. First viola, second viola, and first cello are any of the three women. Second cello is Miss Scarlet or Professor Plum. Piano is not Professor Plum or Colonel Mustard. So it seems to me that the women are pretty much called for in this list. So it's probably not Miss Scarlet or Mrs. Peacock. Mrs. White has already been identified as not one of the people because she's in the other room serving them all stuff. So basically they all go out to try to catch this woman, and Mr. Green says, "Give us back the violin." So it has to either be Colonel Mustard or Professor Plum. And because all of the three women were called for in the other arrangements, and I think there's only one slot that Professor Plum could fulfill, I think it's Colonel Mustard. If this is not Colonel Mustard, I don't know what to do. I got it. It's Colonel Mustard. The possible guests listed for the first viola and second viola and first cello are all women. Got it. That means that the second cello player can't be a woman as well. Why? Because there are only 3 women on the list of 6 possible suspects. So it must be Professor Plum. The piano player is not Professor Plum or Colonel Mustard. It can't be a woman, so it must be Mr. Green. That means that Colonel Mustard is the only missing guest. And then as an explanation at the end, it says, the Colonel explains that he wasn't really trying to steal the violin. He just wanted to show Mr. Body the need for better security for his priceless instrument. Mr. Body believed and forgave him. He's such a good host. Mr. Body is also chronically very gullible in these books as well, so that makes sense. I have how many more? So 13. So I have 3 more mysteries to read. I'm going to bang out this book, and then I'll tell you what I thought about Clue Volume 1, and we'll go on to the next book in the vlog. I am done. I finished this, and it's really hard to give a star rating for something like this because there is so much nostalgia attached to these books for me personally. I just want to read you. This is a great example of the humor that this book employs throughout the different mysteries. Mr. Body has just told all of his 5 friends plus his employee, Mrs. White, that he has decided to leave his fortune to them equally, along with the mansion that they're all coming to visit every weekend. Mr. Body says to everyone, now don't be alarmed, any of you, added Mr. Body with a laugh, I'm not planning on dying for a very, very, very long time. And the next line, I'm not joking, is Mr. Body was dead the next morning. Another great example is that Mr. Body is running through his miniature golf course, which I guess he has on his estate. Okay. Anyway, he's going through the miniature golf course, and he says that there was a hole in one of his shoes. Get it? It's a golf pun for babies. The humor in this is ridiculous, which is why I think you can take this premise of these 6 people who are so fundamentally violent and duplicitous in their interactions with each other, but make it for kids because it is just so silly. This is honestly one of the silliest books I've ever read. I'm very frustrated that I wasn't able to solve most of the mysteries when this is a book written for babies, but c'est la vie. This is a middle grade book. This is written for not young children, but the little in-between years before you become a teenager. That's who this book is written for, versus this book, which is written for teenagers. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. When I have some time, I'll get this one done. Hello, friends. New day, new camera angle. Let's do this. So I'm going to read this. I am going to drink my coffee out of my beautiful Beauty and the Beast Thomas Kincaid mug. My dog is going to continue to be weird in the background, probably. Let's start. My Beauty and the Beast thing is gone now. All right, kids. I read the first chapter. Our first character that we're introduced to is Orchid McKee, who is sitting outside of Mr. Body's headmaster office. She quickly gets introduced to Phineas Plum. They mention Scarlet Mystery, who comes in later in the chapter. And then coming out of Mr. Body's office is Beth Peacock. Peacock? That's a weird, here, can you see the way that's spelled? So Orchid is going to see Mr. Body because her tuition check didn't come through. And you get the sense so far that Orchid is at this academy because it's secluded, and she really just wants to get away from everything. Orchid is someone who is on the run, who doesn't want to be known for whatever reason. Again, I think it's a child star thing. So far, very different than the book that I read yesterday. This is definitely has much more modern conventions, modern writing style, like I thought it would be. Not really surprised, but yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to get through, I don't know, maybe I'll get to like page 100, and I'll check back in with you guys and see how it goes. Guys, Mr. Body has been murdered. Who would have thought? We have a surplus of characters at the moment. So we have Headmaster Body, who is no longer with us, right? And then we have Mustard just came in. He is a ex-military kid. I'm getting vibes that he's gay, so let's see if that pans out. We have Peacock, we have Scarlet, we have Plum, we have Green. Green came in right after I updated you last time. He's one of the townies, and he's a scholarship kid. So all of the kids are accounted for, and on top of that, Mrs. White is there. She is the head of one of the girls' dorms. A note on how this story is told so far: each main character, and specifically teenage main character, has a point of view chapter. So Orchid, Green, Mustard, Peacock, Scarlet, Plum, they all have point of view chapters, and they're all very different. They all have very different backgrounds, different perspectives, different interests. Plum and Scarlet are kind of like two sides of the same coin, but everyone else seems pretty hyper-focused on other things. Peacock, who is really focused on her athletic regimen, her chapters so far, there have only been 2, and they're just these journal entries that she keeps in her blue notebook. And it's just a workout log. So what she eats during the day, the calorie, nutritional information, her morning workout, any notes that she has for the day. That's the only odd storytelling aspect that's been in here so far. But I like it because it shows who she is as a character. Clue is very much an ensemble cast, and I really love that she's employing these different point of view chapters to really drive that home for us as the reader. This book is called In the Hall with the Knife. Mr. Body was stabbed to death with a knife. So I'm assuming the hall is where the murder took place, and then he staggered into the conservatory because that is where his body was found. The book is 300 pages long, so I think I'll check back in with you guys at the 200-page mark. All right, see you soon. New developments. So, Mr. Body is still dead. Bummer. I'm on chapter 20, so I have this much left of the book. We also found out that Vaughn Green, has a twin brother who apparently showed up in the middle of this blizzard, pretended to be Vaughn, dipped out, had a fight with him, and then left, and we don't know where he is. So Oliver, who is Vaughn's twin brother, is also a suspect for the murder. Peacock, Beth, she's kind of a suspect. At this point, I feel like it would just be too obvious if it was her. So if it is her, I'm actually going to be really upset. Oh, also, Vaughn went into a boat with the janitor to try to go to town for help. And they got separated, and Vaughn had to come back to the house for shelter. So we have no idea where the janitor is. He's off in the wind, and he's kind of a suspect as well. There's a couple people in this book who are credible suspects at this point. I am getting to the age now as a 30-something-year-old lady where I just don't gravitate towards young adult novels anymore. But I have to say, I'm really enjoying myself. This is fun. This is a fun reading experience. Other than that, I adore Orchid. She's great. Her name is actually Emily. We find out my prediction that she was a famous child star. Totally got it. Hit the nail on the head. Feels so good in this vlog to make a prediction about something and actually be right about it. It's great. Let's go with some predictions before I get to the end of the novel. I think Oliver did it. Green's twin brother. I think he did it. I still stand by Mustard being gay. That hasn't come to any fruition yet, but there's been a couple more hints that have been dropped, and we still don't know why Mustard is at the academy and why he got kicked out of military school. I think he got kicked out of military school because he fell in love with another boy. I don't know what time it is. I'm getting a little hungry. I might actually make myself some tea and a little snacky snack, and then we'll try to bang this baby out. So stay tuned. Okay, kids, say it with me. It was Mrs. White in the hall with the knife. Did not see it coming. I totally thought it was gonna be Oliver, Vaughn Green's twin bro. It was not. It was Mrs. White. And the reason why she killed Mr. Body was because she found out that he had plans to demolish the Tudor house, which is the house that she was the proctor of on campus. And she actually attended the school when she was younger. She has lived in this dormitory has been her home since she was a young girl. It was really fun. This was a really fun read. If you enjoy Clue, if you love the movie, if you loved playing the game, if you have some nostalgic connection to the IP like I do, I would really recommend picking this up. This wasn't a 5-star reads by any means, but I had fun. I think this was a solid 4-star read for me. So just a quick recap. Read this bad boy yesterday. I really loved it. It was really fun. This was a 4-star read, just like this was. But these were both 4-star reads for very different reasons. This was a really fun YA novel about really, really interesting characters who all have different backstories, different motivations, and are trying to like figure out who they are in the ecosystem of this academy that they all go to together. And this was just, you know, like a pile of silly puns for babies. So also fun, but in a very different way. I hope you enjoyed going on this little vlog journey with me. Other than that, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll see you next time. Bye.